When I say I'm going to talk about tiers, that definitely means I'm not going to talk about tiers. You know what I'm saying? So I want to talk about my general feelings about the game and the characters rather than just building a tier list straight up. I know there'll be people who call me a coward. How dare you not have the confidence to just rank the characters with your expert knowledge? But no, not yet. Not yet. I think we can still play the game more. If I had to summarize how I felt about the game right now, so 1.1/1.11 with Happy Chaos, I think the game is not as balanced as it was, but it's more interesting. But there are definitely haves and have-nots. So in the 1.09, I thought everybody was pretty close. In this version, I feel more separation between the characters, but overall, like, there's no like super big discrepancies like any bad characters and stuff. So the way I probably want to do this is I'll just chat a little bit about each character. I'll put them on the screen. So right now I think the best characters in the game, because this is what people care about. This is the moneymaker. Maybe I should ask for the like and subscribe before I even talk about this one, because this is I think people are gonna leave after this. The best characters in the game in no order are Nago, Leo, Mei, Ram, and Ino. I think these are the best characters in the game right now. Honorable mentions, Zato and Giomana and Sol. So I'll go through each one and explain why I feel that way. So let's start with the obvious ones and go to the less obvious ones. Nago, I think people basically understand why he's really good at this point. He's not that hard to play. He does a lot of damage. He controls a lot of space on the screen. He doesn't have a lot of bad matchups. Really, the main standout one is Zato, and Zato is not that common. And he's just a very stable tournament character, and he also ends people's lives, right? Lots of ways to endure, lots of life, good defense. He basically has it all in the context of this game. Like his mix-up itself, like he's not beating you with crazy high lows. He's basically just really hard to kill, does a lot of damage. And his grab, when he grabs you, it means so much, and you get deleted. Then there's Leo. It's another character we don't have to talk about that much. Really good mix-up, pretty good neutral game, good defense, but also like his reversal is really good. He can make things happen. We've seen him perform well in many tournaments at this time. Mei also I don't think is that much of a surprise. Me saying Mei is about 1.10. Maybe in 1.11 she might go down a little bit because they changed her a little bit. But honestly, like she's been basically top tier since the game came out. I don't think she's going to go down at all. Lots of damage, very easy to play, explosive, very threatening, good with resources. Like, you know, we've seen Mei perform really well. Ram, another one. This is where people are like, you know, she got buffed into top tier. Good damage, good screen control, really good corner game and win condition. We don't have to talk about her too much. I think the spicy one for people is probably going to be Ino. The more I think about Ino, the more I think she is a really ridiculous, underrated character. She has a lot of stuff going her way. Not a lot of characters can deal with stroke and dash at the same time, so you have to select against it very actively. They kept buffing her normals. She's really mobile compared to where the game came out. Once she makes you block, you have to pick something. You have to pick something. You can't just block. If you just block, she's just doing 50-50 to you nonstop. And if you pick something and you do the wrong thing, she bombos you. She has the best wall slump in the game. Like, she could always make something happen. That's the thing about Ino. She can really, really always make something happen. For my NFL fans, I've been calling this playmaking ability. And one thing about all 5 of these characters, right? Nago, Leo, Mei, Ram, and Ino is that they have the ability to just go from neutral to attacking you with scary shit. And I think this is probably the true most important thing in the game, quite frankly. I think it's like the biggest aspect of what makes a character good, especially because like the characters are toned down compared to before. So like whether you're like an ACR lover, Exert lover, or Strive, like if you look at the older games, everybody has the ability, at least one way of being able to turn up from neutral into offense. But in this game is not so common. So like the halves are really the people who are good at doing this. I think Ino is fucking amazing at this. All her weaknesses from when the game came out are not around. She has so many ways to 50-50 you from like many places on the screen. She's just a super threatening character. And I don't think she has so many bad matchups. And then On top of that, she is fucking extra good in tournament because you have to do something. A lot of these characters, like Ino, Ram, Mei, Leo, Nago, they're also like really good in tournaments. Like it's not even just like their potential, but they're really good in tournaments because the defender needs to do stuff. If they do nothing, you do just get mauled. And if you do something and you pick the wrong thing, you die. So it's like a really stressful. And I think these characters are the best. After them, I would probably put Sol, Zato, Chip, Kai, Gio, Potemkin. They're all kind of the same level. So what do these characters have in common? They're decent at making plays. Like they can make things happen. Their characters like Chip is very fast, has good defense. Sorry, I shouldn't say he has good defense as in like his life is trash, but like he has good defensive options. Like he has fast buttons to mash. He's got a fast DP. There's Soul, who has really good normals, really good screen control. He has a couple of like checkmate stuff when he has meter with like throw PRC. It's typical Soul, still does a lot of damage. Kai, better neutral control. Shock state is really like keeps getting better, like in like small ways. Potemkin, honestly, I was really close to calling Potemkin top tier. I think he's like really close to top tier Potemkin. If you watch my stream, I say the stream. If you watch the stream, you hear me talking about playing other characters, and playing other characters actually gives me a much better perspective on Potemkin than playing just Milia. Because playing Milia, it's a bad matchup, but like it's a bad matchup for a lame reason. The only reason why this matchup is bad is because you can't kill him. And once he gets resources, he can just like meme you. So before that, Milia does pretty well. But if he gets like a random knockdown, or if he gets like 50 meter, he gets like really force his game, and he can beat you in like 10 seconds. Usually, like when I say you lose for like a bad reason, it's like the Milia versus Nago. Like Milia versus Nago is similar, where like Milia has a bunch of shit that beats Nago's stuff, and he goes, oh well, you can't combo off any of this, so fuck you, until he hits her, and then does like 60-70%. But when I play other characters against Potemkin, I'm like, holy shit, like what am I reading in my YouTube comments about fucking Potemkin? Because the discrepancy between what people say about him and how people play him is so big. And because the slide head is armor on frame 5 and there's barely any multi-hitting moves, slide head is really fucking obnoxious. I think like out of all the big bodies, it's got to be slide head or clone for like best like anti-zoning big body tool. Like before they buffed clone, it was definitely slide head. Slide head is fucking ridiculous. He can just do it. It has armor, so you can't counter zone him. And they're like, well, we have to get in. But then when he gets in, he fucking makes you block one time, hits you twice, and wins in 10 seconds. Again, Pop Buster does 50%, can't burst, and gold burst is punishable, so you can't even bank on that. And then they do got it down 50-50 you, and there's no throw involved. Like, hello? You know what I'm saying? So I think Potemkin is so close to top tier. He's really close to top tier. Giomana is another one who I think is like really close to top tier, where like a couple of weeks ago I made a tweet where I said what did I say? I think I said like, who beats Giomana? And people thought I was like baiting. They're like, dude, why are you trying to fucking slander Giomana and stuff and blah blah blah. I'm like, no dude, really seriously, who does she lose to? Because I was having a discussion with a friend and we were just like, who the fuck does Giomana lose to? General thing that most people seem to agree upon was just Ram, apparently. Actually, from playing her, because I actually learned her and played her for like a week or so, I definitely felt the Ram too, but I thought Ino kind of fucks her up. I thought Ino versus Gio felt really bad. Again, going back to, it didn't feel like Gio could deal with dash and stroke at the same time, so you have to like overextend. A lot of people told me that like Gio beats Ino, but then when I watch footage, it doesn't look like she beats Ino, so maybe I'm tripping. Gio versus Nago felt pretty good because Nago kind of has to play a ground game. Kind of has to play a neutral game, but like Ino felt like I was playing against a wall. Like you can't beat stroke and dash at the same time, and so you're like, okay, so maybe I'll try IEDing, maybe I'll try vary some stuff, and then Ino has godlike buttons, so like if they just like stand and wait and kind of watch you and preempt a little bit, then like what do you do? And then we also put Axel in this group. Actually, that's my bad. We also put Axel in this group. So Axel's in a weird spot. If I had to put the next group of characters that are in weird spots, like out of this like Chip, Soul, Kai, Potemkin, Gio, Zato. I actually didn't talk about Zato, but Zato's pretty close to top tier, or actually top tier. Gio is like close, but definitely no. Potemkin is close, but definitely no. And Soul is like close / is, but close. I'm not sure. The next few characters, so like Axel, Faust, Milia, Jacko, Anji, Gold Lewis. So these characters are all good, but I think they each have a unique problem that makes them hard to play in tournaments compared to the other characters I've talked about. So, for example, Goldlewis would be a good one. So his defense is not that great. Not that great is an understatement. Honestly, his defense is really trash. In matchups against characters that are really good playmakers like Ram and Zato, he has a problem accessing his win condition. When he actually gets it though, is GG. Or Axel, I think like he doesn't really have like flaws straight up. He has a couple of weird bad matchups like Milia, for example. But like I still think his greatest strength is that he just beats top tiers. Like there's a couple of top tiers that he beats. So like they're scared of him. Like how Leo players don't like Axel so much, or like Nago players are like mixed feelings about Axel. Soul players don't like Axel. Zato players don't like Axel. That's like kind of his best strength, that he just counters some characters that are like good, but he's not that common. Faust, this character is probably a little bit higher. Like if I had to like say a problem, his problem in my head is kind of okay, because like what would happen if they make that thing better? I need to word this the right way. The neutral tools he uses don't lead to his best situations all the time, but if they did, he's just god. Like he's so fucking good if he had that. I guess that's the best way of putting it. Like if he got to use like get like 5p into something meaningful, or like 2p into something meaningful, normally he'd be god. But I think like he's like on these characters level. I have to just see people play more. I think he's like kind of like a matchup character. Milia is like, she's a weird one too, and like she only has like a couple bad matchups, but the big feels bad is her playmaking ability is really bad. Like it's really bad compared to other characters. I think that's like the thing that feels bad the most. So where her win condition is like super strong, like kind of like Goldlewis, her win condition is super strong, but she doesn't get to be like, ha, I want to put you here. Like she has to hit you. She's like at an iffy spot for me. Jacko is kind of similar. She's like 2 steps, you know? So like in matchups where they can't get to her easily, she gets to set up quickly, but in matchups where they can, she can't, so she has to fight on her own. And like any character that's like a 2-step, what I mean is like, oh, I have to bring out the minion, throw it, and then do something, or I have to summon Eddie, right? The difference between Eddie and Jacko is that Eddie has a pulse, so he has a move that goes fuck you, no, like straight up, where she has to get the minion out first and then do it. So she's like implicitly slower than Eddie, if that makes sense. Anji, like I actually think he's in a pretty good spot. I'm not sure why he doesn't perform. Like I actually don't have a reason. When I'm playing against him, he seems strong. Like I played against some Anjis in the past couple of weeks and like studied some of the stuff that happened, and like yeah, they do some like gangster shit, like, you know, some like fake stuff, but if people don't have experience against him, then like whatever, really. And his best situation is really just cornering you, and he does a lot of damage. But the main feeling that I have when I think about him is that like, because he has to guess so specifically what he has to do, that even though the return is high, it's not like that consistent, right? So we've had this patch for a month and a half or so. We can still play the game more and learn a little bit more. So